Hi everyone, this is Deborah. I'm with Business Sales Consulting Firm. Today we have our talk show and I have on my left here Mark Nda. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Mark Nda.
Mark Nda.
Z.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
So today's show is around the topic, the importance of investing in ourselves, whether it's professional investment or personal growth. What are your thoughts around that topic? Is it important or is it not important? And one thing before I let you talk, it is often said that African, especially the African diaspora, we don't like investing in ourselves. But when it comes to partying, when it comes to expensive designer brand clothing, it doesn't matter. We will just go and spend that credit card on those expensive material things. Is it true? Is it not true? Is it a good thing? I mean, I'll let you tell us your perspective. Eric.
Yeah, personally, growing up, that's what I've found out is that personally myself, I've spent a lot of money trying to shine. I'm going to be honest with that. You know, until I started realizing that the people who become wealthy spend more on the things that help them become wealthy than they spend on themselves. And I grew up with a generation, with a community, with a society that was all about instant gratification. I want to shine today. I want to have what I want today. I want to be the first and look good today. And I bought into that, and I've seen the consequences. But years later, thank God I've been associating myself with people like y'all, my sister, then also. And the more I see them invest in themselves, and the more I see the result, the more I'm convinced that the way that I was doing was not right. It's not wrong, don't get me wrong. Some people like it. They don't care about the future. But to me, I really believe that the future is built now. So I believe in it. Unfortunately, I've changed a little bit. I'm doing a lot better. So we'll see how it comes along.
Daniel?
Well, I have to start by saying one quote of Warren Buffett, who says that the best investment that you can make is the one you make in yourself, right? So that tells you a lot about self-development and self-improvement. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer to invest in yourself. Like, you have to do it. That's just the only way you can grow. When we were little, our parents, they gave us everything they could. Everything they knew is what they taught us. But when you reach a certain point in life, you have to keep on growing. And the sad thing is people start thinking that, okay, I'm grown now. I need to stop learning. The time has come. Let's stop and, let's just leave. And for me, learning is a lifetime thing. You have to continuously be putting new information in yourself to make yourself a better person. So self-development and self-improvement for me is definitely a no-brainer. All day long, I'll do it.
Thank you, Daniel. Mark?
Well, I have to come into two different angles. Because I'm trying to be fair to my community and then at the same time be honest with them. It is true that people invest in clothing, shoes, things that we think that they should not invest in it. But the problem is we don't know their goal. We don't know what is their definition of success. You may have a doctorate degree and think that you're not successful yet because you have a higher goal, and somebody may be content with a bachelor degree. But I don't necessarily think that buying clothes, expensive clothes, expensive design shoes is equal to not investing in yourself. I've known people who I always thought that, man, this guy will never be successful. He only party, not knowing what he does in the back, and find out that they have invested in themselves. Now, self-investment, I see in different way. Some people can invest in themselves by having a lot of education. Some people can invest in themselves by having a lot of saving. Some people can invest in themselves by shadowing someone. And there are many ways to self-invest. So as we go, we probably find different ways to self-invest.
Thank you so much for that. So thank you for answering my next question. That's actually going to be my next question to Daniel and Eric. How did you personally start investing in yourself?
I think it was in 2011. A friend of mine sent me a video by a coach, Robin Sharma. I watched the video. It was about 5 bullet points about how to make your year the best year of your life. And I've listened to it. I'm like, I've never listened to something like that. This is just powerful. Nobody talked about this kind of stuff. And then months later or weeks later, he sent me another video about Les Brown. Oh, I'm like, whoa, this is way too big for me.
I'm sorry to do this. Can you turn, I think we are upside down.
Oh.
This is what's showing.
You know, I can go upside down too. Not that way.
No, horizontally, but the other. Is it,
Okay, I
did it
think
change?
one more.
It's a bit.
45 degree encore.
Hang on a second. It's gonna.
Oh, it's gonna come.
Yeah, it's a bit beyond. It's lagging. Okay.
I'll suggest that you turn it off and
Okay,
then just start
okay.
over.
Oh, is it good now?
Is it? Yes.
Oh, now it's
yes,
good.
it's good. Wow, you got me turning.
Turn it off and then turn it back on and then have it straight.
Turn it off.
Oh, should we go?
No, or
Okay.
just turn it. The first thing that you did, like have it straight. Just hold it straight.
The other way
Yes.
with
Yes, this way.
Straight.
Like,
Yeah. Now you see the apple standing up.
Uh-huh.
That's a good sign. People probably gonna catch up. That I believe that's the right. That's the. It's gonna keep it because you see the apple standing up straight. It's gonna take 5 seconds before it shows
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're wasting time. I will turn it off and turn it back on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
I think it's
hang
good.
on, it's coming.
It's good. It's good.
There
Okay.
you go. You're good now.
So you were talking about Les Brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've listened to Les Brown and I told myself, I just love this guy. I love his drive. I love his passion. I love every single thing he said. And I started, you know, in YouTube, the beauty of YouTube is that every time you watch a video, there's a suggested video on the side. I started watching personal development. I started getting to my first books and learning about how to make friends and win. Like, I forgot the name of that. But people who know that book know what I'm talking about. Dale Carnegie. You know, stuff like that. And that was the beginning. And then listening to those stuff is weird. Once you start listening to those stuff, you make friends who listen to the same stuff, who introduce you to friends who are even better. And who knew that I was going to meet people like y'all? It's because of day one. So that's how I got into it.
Daniel, how did you invest in yourself, in your personal and professional growth?
Personally, it started with books. I started buying a lot of books. Going to the library. Okay, so when it was in the beginning, I started going to the library because the books are free there, and you can sit and read and take them home. So I'll go there and I'll borrow like 5, 6 books on personal development. And then the other part was how to make more money. So, reading about stocks and, trading and real estate and things like that. And that was my first investment that I made in myself. Then following that, I started buying for myself books that I'll see the references in the previous books. I buy them and so on and so forth. And around 2017, after college, I met my first coach, Farida Ryan, and she was a Proctor Gallagher consultant. And that was the first big investment. It was more than my tuition in school, but that was probably the best investment that I've made in myself, because that was that thing that really broke me out of my shell. And then following that, for my business, I invested in various masterminds and have yearly masterminds now that I invest in. So as I said, it's continuous, and that's for my business. But personally, it's the coaching. It's going to conferences, Paradigm Shift, the next conference with Grant Cardone, and other conferences as well. So.
What was the trigger? What triggered you to start investing in yourselves?
For me, it was knowing what I could be. You see, like, I love my mom and my dad, but they gave me all they had. And all they had, I reached the point where it's not enough. Like, they can't make you what you are not, right? They can only give you so much. And I felt like my bottle was not full. And I'm like, if it's not full, I gotta fill it up. That's not mommy, that's not daddy's work, that's mine. But how am I going to know what to fill myself up with? And that was that thing that I was like, I want more, I want to know more. And as King Solomon said, there's that say, wisdom and you have to seek wisdom and knowledge, and everything else will follow. So I always looked at that example of King Solomon of wanting more knowledge, wanting more wisdom, because once you have those two, the rest is given after that. So that's the way I looked at it, and that's what kept me going.
So that was your trigger. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, I met like Les Brown. You see, like I'm a passionate person. I'm super driven. So when I've listened to Les Brown, I'm like, I want to be like you. I want to do what you're doing. And boom, that was it. And still, I was kind of reluctant to investing a lot. I was doing the cheap stuff. Like the first big investment that I made, it was actually with her coach too. We have the same coach, phenomenal lady, Frida Ryan. It was the biggest thing. But, for a while, that's why they say, going to those events, you go to an event and you see one speaker speak. And it's like the person came just for you. The person is speaking directly to your heart. And you go out there, you don't talk anymore. You just leave and you know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I started from there. It's been a long journey. I've been slow on it, but I'm glad. And since then, I think I'm grateful for that video that a friend of mine sent me years ago. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Mark? What was the trigger?
I have a lot of triggers. And then to the question, how did I invest in me, and when did I start investing in me? Mm-hmm. I started very early because of the lifestyle that I had when I was growing up. I didn't have it, and sometimes, we didn't have the food, and the way that I was treated by the people that had it, the way that we were outcasts. I said to myself that I wanted to become, it's funny, the president, so I can, punish them, because they really treated us in a different way, and, kid can be mean sometimes when they had it and you don't have it, the way that they treat you. So that helped me, and back home, there is no other way to be successful than to go to school. So I was very successful at school. Most of the time, number one, so I was there, I was always on time, go to school. That's how I started investing in me. But jump from back home and then come to United States. When I came to United States, I knew already, I did a lot of research before I came. I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew that it was going to be difficult. But what I did is, I designed the lifestyle that I want to live and work toward that goal. I didn't just start doing things to become something. I knew where I was going. And I needed also my family to be supported, to understand that it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a long run. We're going to have lights turn off. Sometimes we're going to live on food stamp. Sometimes we're going to live in housing. Sometimes we're not going to have electricity. We went through all that, but I knew where I was going. was just keep walking. When I fell, I get up and then walk. So that was the trigger and the investment that I had. I set up the goal, and I was walking toward that goal, even though it was a stupid goal. It was a goal that people think that I could not achieve. Even people that are very close to me thought that we could not achieve, because we did it together, you know. So that's how I invested in myself.
Thank you for that. So everyone has its own trigger, and people that are watching, if you don't have any trigger yet, I will tell you this live show that we are doing should be your trigger. There is a reason why you are watching this right now. So whatever your circumstance is, whatever your situation is, just know it is very important to invest in yourself. Especially, there is a popular saying, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So if your situation where you're at, if you're happy with it, that's fine, it's you. But in our community, we know a lot of problems can be solved by when we start succeeding, when we start improving on ourselves, on our relationships. When things are getting better, it will be better for our community. So when you're doing the same thing, or if you're just not doing anything, it's time for you to start something, to start trying. Buy books. And Daniel, what are some of the books that you can advise us to read? How?
Personally or business-wise?
Both.
I think the business will let Mark go ahead. So personally, I'll say Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Then the second one is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. I think starting with those two books would be a good way. Oh, and for people who are very emotional, spiritually driven, that was the first book that my dad gave me actually about personal development. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. That for me, it opened doors like I can't even explain. And I was 16 when I first read that, and that was just the first thing. And business-wise, there's a book that I love a lot. It's called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. The E is like E, the letter E, and then dash. This thing right there, that's dash. Mm-hmm. Myth, like a myth. The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. So, yeah.
Eric, is there any book you would like to add to that or suggest?
I would say The Magic of Thinking Big is one huge one that's also out there. But I'll reinforce the fact that Think and Grow Rich is where everybody needs to get started. And I will add that don't just read it once. Don't read it 2 times. Don't read it 10 times. Don't read it 20 times. And even if you read it 100 times, even if you read it 100 times, make sure you understand it. Question it. Understand it. But most importantly, practice it. Do exactly what it tells you to do. You might look ridiculous in front of everybody else, but you do exactly what this book tells you to do. I'm telling you, be patient. Years from now, by the way, The Compound Effect. Oh, that's another awesome book. Woo! Man, I gotta go back and read that again. The Compound Effect it explains it all. But you want to start something business-wise, read Think and Grow Rich 100 times, understand it, take action, and blow it off.
Mark?
I have a different view when it comes to reading books. Mm-hmm. I'm a fact person. I'm not an opinionated person. I like to work with fact. That's why usually I clash with people. I like to, if you come to my office at home, I don't know if you pay attention, most of the books that I read are more educational. I like to read, for example, my business books. I buy like current educational book, and then I read them. There are problem solving in it. I solve the problem. There are paper to write. I try to write, scenario. And because it's good to read people opinion and what they can do is tell you what they lived. What I'm saying right now is what I lived. But what is a fact is some people have spent time to do research on fact-based thing. And when it is not working, how you can get up and how it can work. How can you manage? What is the proper way to manage this type of behavior? Because it depends on what business you're getting yourself to also. Okay? If somebody is telling you about business where you don't need employees, that's good to read. Now, if you need employee also, you need to read a different book where you have to associate yourself with people who behave in a different way. You know, where you have to delegate power, where you have to own things, but people are going to tell you what to do. So but the best book to read is yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the book that I read all the time. It's called Introspection. You go back to rethink what you thought before, to see what worked and what hasn't worked, right? That's a book that you read every day. That's a book that people update and people edit every day. People give you feedback. So you take a look at it and say, okay, this is what people are saying. What is the fact? What is working? What is not working? What can I change? You know, another book to read is have a mentorship. Okay? Those are more practical, right, than some people, like me, for example, when I attend a motivational speak, it doesn't work on me because I'm too much fact-based person. You know, having gone to school for mathematics, you know, it is very difficult for me to take that fact brain and then switch it. So it depends on the person. Some people will read book, but the mentorship is no-brainer, right? You have to learn from someone. That's a good book to read too.
All right, and I will add on to everything. For me, the best book to read is the Bible. You know, the Bible, I'm not trying to preach here. This is my reality. The Bible has everything. All the books that they've listed, if you read the Bible, you'll see that the base, the foundation is on the Bible. That's my best book. If you can relate to me, take the Bible, read every day. You learn a lot of stuff. You learn about business, relationships, personal growth. Anything you guys want to add? Advice-wise?
Man, I was thinking of something I just forgot. I'm sorry I was too loud.
Yeah.
I scared you up.
So I can add something. When we talk about, if the topic is self-investment, I don't want us to take away from the topic, which is self-investment. There are many ways to invest in yourself. Most of the time when we entrepreneur or business men, women come and we want to talk about topic to our community, we tend to tell people that, you know what, it's time for you to go start a business. It's sad because the reality is everybody cannot be a leader and everybody cannot be led. But that doesn't define success. Self-investment also, when we're talking about investment, people suddenly think about money. There are many ways to invest in yourself, right? One way that I invested in myself was to associate myself with people who were born here, know the culture, know the law, understand the law. I play tennis with them. I play pool with them. Okay, I ate with them. But I was still my own, and I was getting advice from them. You know, they taught me how things are done, the consequences. I learned from them. Some of them were not successful, but I learned the reason why they were not successful. Okay, when we're talking about mentorship or read at somebody else's book, we always think that we have to associate ourselves to somebody who is successful. It's not true. It's not always true. Some people's failure may trigger you. Okay, maybe you're going the same path, and by approaching them, they'll tell you how they fail. So now you know that you can't fail that way anymore. So, you know.
Wow,
One thing that I think in the beginning I wanted to rectify that. Your first question was about people like to buy brand and all that. That's also an investment. I definitely agree with Mark. If you feel like that's gonna bring you joy and happiness and comfort, definitely do it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's an investment. Actually, that's a big one and that's a good one. You know, and like as Mark said, it has to be defined by yourself. But I think for me, self-investment comes down to getting out of your comfort zone, right? So if you are doing the same thing all the time, you cannot be expecting the same result. Like, oh, I want to go up there, but you're still doing the same thing down here. That's just not going to happen. And to be practical, that is not going to happen. You have to do something different to get different results. And again, it comes to different ways. Getting mentors, although that's not very accessible to everybody, but it doesn't have to start at that high level. It's not maybe the high level, but you know, the books. I mean, I love reading books because that's how I learn. I'm more on the right side, you are more left side. That's the way I learn. I'm very emotional. I also like things, you know, that you can measure, just like Mark, like things that I can see, things that I can touch. But sometimes it starts with the way I feel. And the way I feel helps me touch this thing. So you just have to define who you are. You have to find out who you are actually, and then follow your intuition, like follow yourself, follow that voice, you know, inside of you that tells you whatever you need to do. Because whether you're on the left or on the right side of your brain, there's still that voice inside of you. So
And then
follow
one
it.
thing that I want to add, there's one guy that I know, he's from Togo, he's in our community, he probably know that I'm talking about him, but I can't give his name. He's a cab driver. And one day I stopped him and I said, man, you are so smart the way that you talk. I think you should go back to school and do this. But what I was trying to do is trying to tell him to be me. Right?
Yeah.
But I went to that guy home. This guy is probably the most happiest person I've seen. He drive cab, he make a lot of money, right? What he did is he invested in a cab and now he gets so many clients. Okay? He invites us for barbecue. He take care of his family. He's successful. Okay? So that tells me that he probably set up his goal and he decided to invest in that. And he is very good at what he does. Right? He's recognized at his work. And when change came to his company, a few people moved from cab to, what is the new one?
Uber.
No, there is a new,
Z-Trip?
Z-Trip. You know, the best one are the one who got the Z-Trip and got good client. When you are at work and you want a promotion, you invest in what you do there. When I work, everywhere that I work at, when I work at McDonald's, when I work at Pizza Hut, when I work at Walmart, all these small jobs that people, the job that I hated the most was McDonald's because the food didn't smell good for me, but I was good at what I did. You know what I'm saying? I was very good. I didn't like it, but when I go there, I work like it was my job. I hold myself accountable because I wanted to own something like that. So self-investment, we just need to be careful not to try to make people us or try to see other people in the lanes that we see ourselves. You know, I'm speaking as a Christian. When we Christian, we become Christian, we forget who we used to be, and we are quick to try to make people be like us, and we forget where we went and the investment we made before we become who we are. So it is going to take time for other people. Okay. As a matter of fact, with my age, I'm talking to a generation that are probably in their 30s, early 40s, who have time to become more than what I am. You know what I mean? So.
Well, thank you for that, Eric.
Yeah, one thing that I'm going to add is that I'm a modeler. Talking about modeling, I watch somebody that is doing what I want to do. And all I do, I model the person. Like Les Brown, I've been modeling Les Brown. He's my #1 motivational speaker, and this guy just Jones, man, he just rocks. So, and modeling other people, what I found out is all those people that are good at one thing, they listen a lot. They're very good at listening, and they keep on talking about the fact that we got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I've tried to learn that a little bit. And with that comes what she talked about, wisdom. When you listen more than you talk, wisdom kicks in. And when you model, it's a little easier. So personally, that's what helped me break some bridges, or whatever the term is. So anybody out there that's watching this show, somebody's probably going to relate to him, somebody's going to relate to her, like she's kinesthetic, more feeling-wise, and babble-wise, and stuff like that. Me, what worked for me, I've modeled those people that I loved. And I'm still on my way. I've started listening, and when you listen, the good people that know that you can be a good apprentice, like him, he likes touching stuff. They talk to you, they bring you to their office, they give you the shortcut, and then you practice. So definitely do you, listen to your heart, do whatever you want to do. When I left information technology to do what I do, my family thought I was crazy. I lost my mind. But I'm like, and they say, hey, I'm suffering. I say, what you call suffering is not my definition. This is how I live. I've learned to embrace what I'm living, and I'm like, it's insane different. I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? It made me grow. So listen to your heart mainly, and be humble. Listen a lot. And that's what I got to share with you guys.
Thank you so much. So we just tested the assumption, like Danielle said, people that chose to buy big brands, they're also investing in themselves. It's not a bad thing. Whether you choose that route or whatever you choose to do, just level up. Like my friend Medea says, level up. Don't stay at the same level, but just level up. Seek growth, continue to learn. Learning is a good way also to invest in yourself. And I would like to acknowledge at this time Kofa. He is behind the camera. You cannot see him, but Kofa, thank you so much for your help. Thank you, guys. For being here.
Yeah, and they always say the people that are behind the scene, the people that you never see, they're the backbone of everything. So this man that you cannot see right there, he's the one holding the camera and making it happen. He's been turning this camera like 20 times before you could see it the right way. So pray for him. He's a man of God. Thank you, my brother.
That's his investment right there.